Okay guys, in episode 4, we're going to focus on Joe's second time gap where he's missing for almost 2 hours during the critical moment where Ashlee is hurt. Why is picture 21 so important? Is Joe attempting to establish an alibi but doesn't realize that the timestamp is off or appears to be off 12 hours? Why does Ashlee never respond to any of these text messages? And he does admit to having her phone and password. Is it possible he's texting from both phones? And since he does have access to both phones, is it also possible that he could have asked ChatGPT some of those questions? Why does he contact guest services a full hour before the big blowout fight? Does he know something we don't know? Alright guys, grab your popcorn, your snacks, and your pen and paper. Let's sit back as we dig deep to reconstruct the final night of Ashlee Jenae Robinson's life. At 6:28 East Africa time, picture 21 is out of order by the timestamp. But is it used to establish that they were back at the beach during sunset? And to then say they end by separating with him staying behind to watch the sunset and she goes back to the hotel room? 18:38 East Africa time or 6:38 p.m. Picture 23. Joe states that after Ashlee left, he then contacts the hotel to request another room. This is a full hour before their final big blowout argument, with the only proof that they're fighting being picture 20 and 21. This last picture is odd that the timestamp and dates are missing. Why? So at 19:32 East Africa time or 7:32 p.m., Joe then walks back to the villa, room 25, to shower. Joe showers and then says afterwards, Ashlee initiates another fight. This is when he says, okay, give me the ring back. The engagement is off. He states she reacts by yelling, smashing lamps, glassware in the room, and telling me, amongst other things, quote, I hope I choke and die here tonight. End of quote. This is when room 24 calls hotel security, supposedly, and they show up at the door within minutes. And I say supposedly because we don't really know exactly when they were called. We just know that it was sometime during this argument. So Ashlee, he says, suddenly becomes calm and then explains to security that there is no issue. Everything is fine. Even going on to say to them, quote, as a woman in this situation, I would let you know if there was something wrong. It's worth noting again that Joe is quoted as saying this, that Ashlee said, not the hotel staff or not another third party verifying that Ashlee said this. This is all coming in just from Joe. With this sporadic behavior, one is left to wonder if Ashlee is responding to reactive abuse, which occurs when someone who is being abused begins to defend themselves by responding to abuse with a physical and or verbal attacks. So what are the dynamics of reactive abuse? It's when someone faces physical or verbal abuse, their fight or flight responses can activate to protect them. And if fleeing is not an option, they might fight back verbally or physically confront their abuser. This can include yelling, screaming, insulting, or possibly assaulting the abuser. Self-defense is a more accurate term. The report goes on to say, it is crucial to recognize that individuals resorting to reactive abuse are not the instigators. They are the victims responding to abuse. The term reactive abuse can be misleading because it unfairly labels the victim as an abuser. Self-defense is more an accurate description of this behavior. And to me, sounds a lot like what is happening. It's, again, my opinion. We're going to continue. Joe says, at this point, the head of security asked if we needed some time or separate villas. I volunteered to go to a separate villa and explain to them that I was already in touch with guest services over WhatsApp. My bags already packed. I left to head to the reception desk, handed off my key for Villa 25 and received my new key for Villa 65. Critical window at 2000 hours Eastern African time and 2029 East African time or 8:29 p.m. Is Ashlee hurt? Even if she committed suicide, did she do so after Joe and the hotel staff left and during the window where he was trying to call her? And is this when she becomes unresponsive? She does not return calls or answer any of Joe's calls made from 2029 to 2035, which is 8:29 to 8:35 p.m. These calls are not allowed to go to voicemail, but are instead canceled before the calling party could answer or the voicemail picks up. Was Joe in the room, possibly showering, when Ashlee asks for the phone charger? Or does she ask the hotel staff for the charger after Joe leaves? This timestamp for Joe calling around this time is 26 minutes before she's found unresponsive. Why is he calling her at this time when, by all accounts, there is no emergency? The only proof offered is the picture of the back-to-back calls from 2029 ending in 2035. Joe indicates that he goes to pick up his room key. Was the room not ready? As there's a large time gap. Where is Joe during this time? From 8 p.m. to 10:21 p.m., we do not know where he is. We know that after Ashlee returns to the villa from that last photo they took together at the beach during sunset, up until the time that she was found unresponsive, that's when she asked for the charger in that window. So that's potentially from 6:24, 6:30ish, because the sun, of course, doesn't set right on the nose. It's going to go down and take a few minutes to go down, but those few minutes are the same few minutes every single day. So she gets back to her, and then, of course, the time it takes to walk back to the room, she's asked for that charger in that window. Joe admitted that he had a delayed return to the room, but then he did get back to the room and stated that he took a shower. Joe is still unaccounted for during 2 times, before the fight, and then he's unaccounted for after the fight and before they escort him to his room, because he says he doesn't get escorted until right when Yolanda starts texting him, and that's at 10:21. So there's a big gap. And remember that the Deputy Director, Chief Chimbrera, he confirmed, and when Joe redid and translated and transcribed his interview given on June 4th, that Ashlee was found unresponsive by the hotel staff without Joe present at 8:55 p.m. and was rushed to the hospital. Where is Joe from after the fight that prompted the room change until he checked into his room around 10:21 p.m.? Based off of his words, there is a huge gap in time. From 10:10 p.m. to 10:21 p.m., he says, I left to head to the reception desk, handed off my key for Villa 25, and received my key for Villa 65. This is the time break here, and it's subtle, but it makes it seem like he never was out of sight of anyone or was always with the hotel staff. But that's not supported by what he says and the fact that Yolanda does not start texting Joe until 10:21 p.m. At 10:21 p.m. to 10:53 p.m., Joe continues. Once safely apart from Ashlee at the reception's desk, Ashlee's mother, Yolanda Indris, tried calling me and texted me that Ashlee won't answer her phone and that Ashlee was, quote, texting terrible things, end of quote. From 10:17 p.m. to 10:33 p.m., he continues, I then head down with Zuri staff to my new villa, number 65. I then start to receive incredibly disturbing texts from Ashlee stating that her clear intent to take her life. I tried calling multiple times, but she wouldn't pick up. I begged, I pleaded with her, but to no avail. Then he gives pictures 25 and 29 as proof of her committing suicide. Now my question is, did you guys catch it? Did you catch it? He says that Yolanda starts to text him on his way to his room. That's timestamped by his evidence given at 10:21 p.m. He also says after that he started to receive unbelievably disturbing texts from Ashlee. That's at 10:17 p.m. A full 4 minutes before Yolanda starts to text message him. So by his own accounts, Joe is being escorted to his new room at number 65. He says between 10:17 p.m. and 10:53 p.m. in that big window. But before then, Joe is missing in action. We don't know where he is. And also, he's not with Ashlee because she's found unresponsive at 8:55 p.m. by the hotel staff. And this is reiterated by, he said, quote, "I then headed down with Zuri staff to my new villa at number 65. End of quote. He is making a point to say he's with staff and headed down to the new room, when beforehand we knew that he was not with staff. He was waiting for that room to be ready. Quote, "I then start to receive incredibly disturbing texts from Ashlee stating her clear intent to take her life. These are the text messages from 10:17 p.m. to 10:30 p.m., but she had already been found by the hotel staff and taken to the hospital. Quote, "I tried calling her multiple times, but she would not pick up." End of quote. Why are these texts so heavily edited, where we don't see the day or from whom they're being sent from? So there was this time between the fight and around 8 p.m. and being escorted to the front desk. Then he's waiting for his room key to around 10:17, maybe 10:21. That's when he starts getting the disturbing texts. So he mixes up who texts him first. It was Yolanda. The timestamp is what he says at 10:21, but the reality is that it was Ashlee, or allegedly Ashlee, at 10:17 p.m. because, again, she's already at the hospital unresponsive. How is she text messaging anyone? And he's already admitted to having her cell phone password, so could he be in text messaging her? So allegedly, he sets an alibi because he would have said, "She's texting me bad things too," but instead he asked, "Isn't she responding to you?" Which indicates he knows that she's responding because he's responding for her, allegedly trying to set an alibi. Like I said, when you put the timelines together, you ain't even got to be a journalist. You just got to read and have comprehension skills. But okay, let's continue because this is juicy. To reiterate, Ashlee text messages at 10:17 p.m. Her text to Yolanda and Joe start at 10:21 p.m. And before that, there is 2 hours unaccounted for, but only an hour that she is still okay during that time, and that he had left her room, presumably. Could he have gone back to Ashlee's villa, allegedly? We added a picture of the map of the hotel grounds, and it shows that the distance is not that far. How can Ashlee be found unresponsive by the hotel at 8:55 p.m., but she's still texting them both at 10:17 p.m. and 10:21 p.m. At 10:22 East Africa time to 10:30, Joe states that he, quote, also called her villa directly 3 times by pressing the number 1 plus the villa number 25. She never answered. Her last communication to me was the word, quote, "stop." End of quote. So this begs the question, since Ashlee's already rushed to the hospital, exactly when does Joe make it on over to the hospital? He never gives a time when he went. The hotel staff finds her, and Joe is not with either her or the hotel staff. Based on his own words, he's arriving at his new room and she's not responding, which makes sense. She's already been rushed to the hospital. He sends the question mark emoji at 10:22 p.m. to her alleged text that says, quote, "Don't let anyone I didn't like Cary my casket," which is, she meant Cary. This was sent at 10:30 p.m. Again, she was already rushed to the hospital at 8:55 p.m. Is it not suspicious that we don't have any other text messages from Ashlee around this time other than the suicide texts? Nothing from the sunset or hours before? And maybe that's where that ChatGPT, where she said, I didn't bother texting, I just walked back to the room. Was that him? Was that her? Do we know? How can Ashlee be found unresponsive by the hotel at 8:55, but she's still texting? I'm still going to keep asking that question, because people that are unresponsive after hanging themselves and never regaining consciousness tend to not be text messaging people. Just going to keep saying that. When pressed to elaborate on the argument between Joe and Ashlee, he refers everyone back to, quote, watch Deputy Director Chimbera's June 4th press conference, in which he left zero doubt that Ashlee's death was tragically by suicide, then offers the pictures 30 through 46. Really? Okay.